Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's meeting of Clinton City Council. We do have a quorum present, so we can do business. First thing on the agenda is the invocation by Mr. Kirkendall.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we're grateful that we can gather together this afternoon and celebrate some things in our town and talk about some avenues that we want to take in our town and celebrate the opportunity, O Lord, to ask these things of your glory. We ask that you bless our meetings and bless those that serve this community and our law enforcement, our fire protection, those that drive ambulances, O Lord. We pray that you be with this group of people that show interest in our city. And we welcome you to this meeting, O Lord, and for us in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, the next thing, next on our agenda is for council to recognize citizens regarding agenda items who have registered to address the city. We want to, just as I normally do, to remind everyone, this is a courtesy time that we offer our citizens to speak. When you come up to speak, we ask that you please give us your name. After you've done this, Ms. Langston will start the clock and you'll have 2 minutes to make a statement. And just reminding you, this is not a question and answer time. Then you make your statement. When your 2 minutes are up, the alarm will sound to help you if you haven't already finished, and then we'll ask you to stop then and give any information that you want to have on the record to them. So first, let's go ahead and we'll call the folks that have signed up.
Tasha Mims.
Yeah, we'll ask you to please come up to the microphone, state your name, and then.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? My name is Natasha Mims. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, my name is Natasha Mims, and I am a citizen in Clinton, South Carolina, and I am here today asking for help. I had put an organization together for a mentorship for the troubled boys and girls in this community. I went to the people in the community for help. At first, everybody was aboard, then they let me down. I have a pastor, his name is Levi Lawrence. He is from Abbeville, Mississippi. He would like to come down here and demonstrate to the troubled boys and girls in this community where you will go if you don't change your life and where you will end up being if you don't change your life. Somebody got to do something in this community. Not only do the teens need guidance, we need guidance, because sometimes the adults condone and half of the stuff that they do. And I just want to let the kids know that if don't nobody love them, I do. I don't have a troubled child, but I have a troubled nephew who I have been trying to get help for the longest. And the thing with the people in this community is free, free, free. Everything that people do is not for free. This guy is actually charging $4,000. I have got up $800, and that's it. I do have in black and white a contract, but I was running late, so I did not grab it, because it's either get here or be late. I came here, but I will show you the print in black and white. I'm just here simply today because in 2024. Y'all said if I ever needed y'all when I was awarded the keys to the city to come back to y'all. I'm here today. I'm simply asking if there's anything that the city could do. I had planned it for April the 18th, and the reason why I'm coming to y'all now is because I was told that I had to come to this meeting, but I didn't know. If you don't know, you don't know. But I'm here today because I want help, not for the minority, for every color. It doesn't matter who you are, because I'd rather get help than to put you on a pay $35 and get you put on a t-shirt that say rest in peace. So if there's if anybody can just in your heart, deep down inside, feel what I'm feeling. I try to eliminate myself from this situation, but God is telling me not to let it go.
Thank you, Ms. Mims. Okay.
Jacqueline Craig.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jacqueline Craig. I just came to vent like she's venting. I live on Tribble Street. Thank God it's a dead end. Because cars go up and down Bell Street, Livingston Street, Oak Street. I came home from church, saw smoke coming from Oak Street, drove around to see if there was a fire. But you can't get around because the kids got the roads blocked. I actually saw a young woman on top of a car humping it, and the car was moving. I just want to see a policeman every now and then
Amen.
ride down Oak Street. In fact, I like for him to be on Tribble Street. I got robbed. I hated it. They left the gun but took all my private stuff. And that hurt more than leaving the gun because there was stuff on my parents and my grandparents. Every now and then I like to see a policeman. Came and made a report. I have yet to see a policeman. The people who are driving up and down the streets, don't we have something that can monitor at the rate that they're going? West Main, I can see it because nobody stops them. They flying down there. On West Carolina, coming from Lawrence, you better get off the road. Now on Bell Street, it's like it's on a, what do you call it, racetrack?
Racetrack.
Because they fly up and down there. God help somebody if they got children over there. Because after a while, somebody's kid's going to get hit by a car. So, I've been, let me sit down.
Thank you, ma'am, Ms. Craig.
Robbie Strickland.
Good evening. I'm Robbie Strickland. I'm a member of the City of Clinton Planning Commission, and I want to come before you tonight to go over a couple of items that y'all are going to be looking at in a little while. Second reading of the ordinance amending the subdivision regulations. We made a couple of changes since your first reading, and I just want to go over those and make sure that everybody understands what our recommendation is. The first one is under item B, testing all required compaction, materials tests, and inspection should be performed at the expense of a developer by an independent. We added that. Qualified engineer selected by the City of Clinton. We added that to be selective. That was a suggestion of one of our council members. Thank you. That was a great suggestion, and it really strengthened it. The other item is item 7 under C, which is a paragraph which one thing was left off the end. I noticed on y'all's final report, the last part of that sentence, which says prior to construction of additional phases of development, was left out. That was not in our recommendation. What we voted on was that paragraph to be in its entirety, and it should read, the final engineering report shall be submitted to the Public Works Director and the Planning Commission prior to the Commission's recommendation to City Council on acceptance of streets prior to construction of additional phases of development. We think that's very important because, as you know, each construction project has a sequence that it goes through to complete the project, whether it's a subdivision or building a house, anything. If you get out of sequence, that's when you start having problems or potentially have problems. So we think that last statement, that last part of that sentence keeps everything in sequence and is a very important part. That's what we recommend from the City of Clinton Planning Commission, that you include that last part of item 7 under paragraph C. We had a pretty good discussion about that at our last meeting, and we voted almost unanimously to include that in there, and we feel pretty strongly that that part of that sentence should be left in your recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Okay.
If you have any. Thank you.
Thanks.
Barbara Barksdale.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Barbara Barksdale.
Barksdale, and I am a resident of 205 South Livingston Street. And we were the victims of a hit and run on Saturday night. Gary Street, Livingston Street, Bell Street. It's like the Daytona 500. Up and down the street, loud cars, trucks. They drive like they're crazy. Okay. The hit and run occurred between 10:30 and 11 on Saturday night. Of course, we're in the house had it not been for the gentleman that was across the street who saw the accident, and he chased the car and got the tag number. Now, the gentleman was traveling at such a high rate of speed, he hit the mailbox, which is mounted on cement outside the gate, tore the gate down, came through the front yard, almost hit the house, and exited on the other end where there is not an exit. He made one. Did he stop? No, he drove off. So that gentleman went and stopped him. Officer Wong came out and took the report, and he called me on yesterday. They did find the gentleman. But something has got to be done with reference to them driving so fast. It's a little community, and you don't need to be driving 56 miles an hour. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Ms. Barksdale.
Jeff DeWitt.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. My name is Jeff DeWitt. I live at 102 Henry Street, corner of Henry Street and Davidson. And I'm here to speak against the proposed rezoning that the council will be considering later on tonight on Davidson Street. Musgrove Street is a major single-family residential corridor, historically has been. The 2019 City of Clinton Comprehensive Plan states in the land use element, and I read directly from the plan, residential areas generally are well insulated and free from incompatible uses, particularly commercial, but exposure and pressure for higher intensity development along the major streets into the city are a constant threat to the stability of these traffic corridors for continued residential uses. As a result, these streets should be carefully monitored in the future if they are to retain their residential character. The application is requesting rezoning for these lots from R1 to C3, which is general commercial. That opens the door to virtually anything with very, very few exceptions. The applicant states that it's their intent to redevelop these parcels into multifamily residential, and I have no doubt that that is their full intent. But however, as probably we all know, in life things change. Plans change, and in commercial land development especially, deals fall through. If something were to happen to their plans that they could not do the residential development, then we're sitting there with C3 commercially zoned property in the middle of a residential R1 historic single-family neighborhood. That's not good. I would ask council to deny this application tonight for the rezoning and let the applicant go back and work with Mr. Lindler, the planning director for the city, and come back with a revised plan that would respect the R1 zoning along Musgrove Street, and then find a more appropriate zoning designation for the properties behind Musgrove Street that would allow them to do this multifamily development, but protect the R1 single-family residential character of Musgrove Street. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt.
That
Okay,
is all.
that's all. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hey, next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have had the minutes from March the 2nd, and I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from March 2nd meeting.
Second.
Okay, a motion from Ms. Cogswell, second from Mr. Cook. Any questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The minutes are approved. Okay, the next thing we have is to consider the following proclamations. April is Alcohol Awareness Month, April is Autism Awareness Month, and April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I'll entertain a motion to proclaim April as all three of those. Have a motion from Ms. Walsh, second from Mr. Kirkendall. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. And the motion carries. And we are so proclaimed, and we will sign those proclamations tonight. All right, next on the agenda, what a lot of people are here standing up all up and down the walls for. We want to have a very good recognition of our Clinton High School and Clinton Middle School Science Olympiad teams and congratulate you on winning state. Now I want to get all the members of the teams and all the coaches, Dr. O'Shields, come down here to the front so we can recognize you.
Yes, you're all right. It's about y'all, not about us.
You say a few words about this group and about the Science Olympiad.
Right. Science Olympiad was something that Michael Mack, many of y'all know Michael Mack has taught for 43 years in Clinton. And he brought this in 1986 to the city of Clinton as one of the things in conjunction with Newberry College. Since that time, Clinton High School and Clinton Middle School, formerly known as Bell Street Middle School, they've both competed in this competition annually. It is a true Olympiad in the sense that there are 23 events for middle school, there are 23 events for high school. Over the course of the most recent period, both Clinton High and Clinton Middle have won the competition. The second place team this year was a private school from Bishop England. The third place school in the state was a charter school from Charleston. So the fact is there is a lot of competition, and the children that are here today show that people in Clinton can and in fact are capable. They just need, just as the ladies have spoken, they need positive role models, they need the good influences, and they need to have people that are invested in their lives. And these children can do. And I think it's something that says a commendation to the city and the council to recognize us, to have supported us, to be able to bring us together, because being smart is not a bad thing. Being smart is not a bad thing. And sometimes people will not always use their full abilities to showcase how smart they are. And yet here, you've got children that are willing to do that. And I think that says a lot about who this team is and what we're about. And if you look, we've got coaches, Lander, that helps us, Jeff Lesperance. We have Diane Summer. She has been with us for years, as well as Terry, the head coach. And as superintendent of the district, it is refreshing to know that children can and are focused on the right things. And Amy and Allison, Lord gosh, I almost forgot. If I didn't have them, we couldn't do it, because I live off everything she does as a message. Any message we send, it goes out through Allison. So really, both of them. And who else have I missed? Oh, yes, and just as others have requested, we're going to Los Angeles, going to the University of Southern California, the other USC this year. And we will represent South Carolina, and if there are opportunities for donations, we have a SNAP raise that's up that we will take and accept donations, because taking a team from Clinton, South Carolina, all the way to Los Angeles is a feat. And that is something that will take money, and we live off the donations and the support of others, and we are appreciative and very glad to represent the city.
Dr. O'Shields, let me tell one little quick story about the Science Olympiad. Since I'm there, I got the privilege of speaking to the Leadership South Carolina group one year, and this was a few years back, well into our domination of the Science Olympiad sphere here. So I had a question from one of the members of Leadership South Carolina. They said, well, tell us about your schools. And I said, well, I went through everything about our schools that are good. But then I said, well, let me tell you just one thing at the end. I said, our middle school at that point, and our high school was just starting, I think, at that point when I was speaking. I said, we've won the Science Olympiad in the state of South Carolina for at least 15 years in a row then, at that point in time. And I said, now, you might say, well, what is that? And I said, you know, we compete against every school in the state that's in Science Olympiad, all sizes. And I said, I guess what I'm breaking it down to say is our children are whipping all y'all's children. And I said, and I'm very proud, and I'm very proud of our schools, and I'll put my people up against yours anytime. So we thank y'all for all you do. Thank you for one. I'd have never made the Science Olympiad team. I'm glad my grandson's smarter than me. But we thank you, all you coaches that spent a lot of time, and I've seen it over the years, and it's paid off. It's paid off. The students that y'all turned out, it's just been incredible, you know, what they've gone on in life to do. So
Thank you.
we want to say thank you.
And thank you to the city, and thank you to everybody in the community. Thank you to the town for believing in us and supporting us. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, before they move away from the front of the room, I'd like to make a motion on behalf of City Council that we award both teams $2,500 each to help cover some of their expenses in this great opportunity to represent the state of South Carolina as well as the city of Clinton at nationals in the Science Olympiad tournament.
We have a motion for Mr. Cook. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a second, I think. Several seconds, I think Ms. Walsh did it. Any questions or comments? Or concerns? Oh, that's Mark.
And Mr. Mayor, the only other thing Dr. Shields left out, Presbyterian College has hosted the Science Olympiad the last 2 years at least.
Right.
And PC is very proud of that too, and we're appreciative that it was brought to PC.
Okay, so, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And we will, so done. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Now, those of you in AP Comp Gov can stay.
Nobody's taking you up. Nobody's taking you up on that one.
Yeah. I see you, King boys. Oh.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, shit. Ice, ice, baby.
Sir.
Did you see those Comp Gov kids just run?
Okay, we're moving on to old business. Mr. Metters, I'll let you take over the agenda.
Thank you, sir. The item under old business from the March council meeting is council to consider second reading of an ordinance amending the subdivision regulations within the city of Clinton related to streets and other matters related thereto. And Phil, you
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. This is a request to modify the subdivision regulations to add the wording that's provided to you in section 319. As Mr. Strickland identified, he went through basically those changes where we're requesting that the modification be an independent qualified registered engineer selected by the city of Clinton. And then under item 7, that the final engineering report shall be submitted to the Public Works Director and the Planning Commission prior to the Commission's recommendation to City Council on acceptance of the streets. It's been clarified that Mr. Strickland was the one who made the motion at our Planning Commission meeting, and his intention was to have that last portion of that sentence to be included that states prior to construction of additional phases of the development. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you have on that.
Anybody have any questions before? Well, I think we have to get a.
So, Mr. Mayor, my question, I think we have to bring it as.
Yeah, let's
get it on the floor.
Get it on
Yeah.
the floor as a motion and
So moved.
okay, we have a motion, motion from Mr. Cook, second from Mr. Kirkendall. Okay, now, questions and comments.
So, Mr. Lindland, what you're saying, we're gonna add that, the part that's on number 7, that's struck through back in?
That's Mr. Strickland's recommendation that went through at the Planning Commission meeting.
Was that meeting between our last reading, first reading and now?
Yes,
Okay, because that was what
We wanted to,
discussed,
yeah.
right?
that's correct.
We
I'd
have-
like to make sure that gets put back in here, because I think it's important that it's there.
Yeah, and what about the other part that's striked out? In addition, once notified, the director will inspect the quality of construction of each stage within 2 working days. This inspection must be conducted prior to starting construction on the next phase.
The intention of that was to delete that section. That was the original wording of that section. But it was thought that the 2 working days was just a very tight timeline for that inspection to occur. And so we recommended deletion of that sentence. But then the second sentence is basically included in the next portion that we added that says prior to construction of additional phases of development. So between the two, it's covered.
Any other questions or comments?
I'm not sure I understand the rationale for pausing between, because to me, and I did watch the planning commission meeting, and I feel like the intention is good, that we need to have accountability, that all of our roads need to be SCDOT up to that standard. If an engineer signs off on that, why would the planning commission or we ever vote no on that? Robbie's
I'll answer that if you like me to.
that's
The reason we added that in there is because in some cases, we didn't feel like it was being done consistently. And by having that in there, it will be done consistently. There's one more area of accountability that has to be done, that another supervisor looking at it to make sure it's done, because it's very important. If we take over the maintenance of those roads in the future, and they weren't done correctly, we're going to have a huge bill to pay, and I don't think anybody wants that. None of the taxpayers do, I know. And that just makes it certain that that's done. It's not gonna take long for that to happen, but I think it's very important, and we felt like as a commission that it's very important to include that wording in the change in the ordinance.
Was your question mostly related to the first part? Because I think it was you that brought up some concern about the part that we struck out, that the commission has now recommended to add back in.
I'll say this, I wanna get this right. I'm not interested in being right on this, because right now I still would say I don't see why we would pause the development to wait for a commission meeting and a council meeting. It could be, I mean, if they get in just after the council meeting, that could set them back quite a long time before they start on it. So I'm fine if it goes through the planning commission and through council, but I don't understand, and y'all can help me understand it if I'm missing something. I don't understand pausing and waiting for all of this when an engineer, if an engineer has already said that it's good, why would we ever?
Don't we by ordinance have to accept, council has to accept a road into the city's inventory?
That is correct.
So that's why, Dean.
But, well, to that point, the way I understood it at our last meeting is this final part was for if their intention was for those streets to be taken over by the city. And I'm thinking through how to, they may do one phase without having that intention. I have pause about the prior to construction of additional phases of the development, I'm with Danny on Mr. Smith on this, that I don't need to, I just clarify to me how that is helpful before they can, we would need those roads to have an engineering report presented to the planning commission and city council prior to, annexing isn't the right word, but
Taking them into our inventory.
Applying it to our inventory. If they don't meet muster, would we take it in before the entire plan was done? Like before, so, I'm not a builder or in construction, so I don't know the words for phases and whatnot. I guess I'm thinking about, okay, so your front half of the subdivision is done. Would we accept it into the inventory before the entire all of the phases were done?
Before the entire development is completed. This is new territory for us.
Yeah.
Because we've not had this come up. So I can't answer that question. I feel like that our subdivision ordinance right now requires the roads to be put in under SCDOT specifications. I understand the importance of having an engineer test those roads. And I think it's a great idea. I mean, we need to protect ourselves there.
Mm-hmm.
But council, needs to decide what they want to do as far as, when we move forward. We will make sure that these roads are put in under DOT specifications. We will hire an engineer per the subdivision ordinance as it's written right here. And just to go a little bit further, Shell Creek was not privy to this when they started their development. We had not broached the subject of hiring an engineer and requiring them to do the engineering on it. But they were required to do their roadways by SCDOT specifications. Over the last 2.5 weeks, we have gone, and the Public Works Director has gone down to Shell Creek when they do their proof rolls. And the engineer from BLE is there also. So we're observing that right now. And then BLE will give a report to the developer. And then if the developer comes to us and asks us to take the roads into our inventory, we will consider that recommendation or request. So, have I made any sense?
Yeah, yes, and I know I was admittedly rambling there, trying to catch my thoughts up to my mouth. But I guess I do see that last bit as a part of what could turn into a bureaucratic nightmare for proceeding and us having to come, holding meetings. I think the portion of saying we're not even going to contemplate taking it into our inventory unless these specifications are met
That is correct.
is fair. If at some point we took over first phase, we take into our inventory because it's past muster. In the process of building second phase, they damage the streets with whatever equipment might come through. Would that company then be liable for fixing that?
The developer has to put up a bond
Okay,
for 3 years to cover those roads through that first 3-year period. So if the second phase is built within that 3-year period, yes, the developer would be on the hook for repairing those roads.
I would think we would want to put everything possible in place for and I like this prior to construction of additional phase. That's covering ourselves too. Making sure that we are not taking on roads that what would be the harm for them to come back to the planning commission, to come back to council to say, hey, this is what we have done, this is our report. We either accept or deny. I mean, at least you give you that information. I don't think it would take that long for us to, that process for us to say, okay, this is good.
The only potential there, and like I said earlier, this is new territory for us. So Clinton Commons is supposed to have, I think, 2 or 3 phases. Shell Creek is supposed to have a couple of different phases. So we have not seen where they either roll into the second phase right after they complete the first phase, or whether they wait a while before moving forward to see how their homes sell before they put money into the second phase. But the thing I think we run into, and of course we will do exactly as council directs us to do, but if we receive a report on Friday afternoon prior to a meeting of council on Monday night, it's too late pretty much to get it on the agenda because it hadn't gone to the planning commission. The planning commission normally meets the Tuesday following a week later than council meeting is. So that could, the public works director can get it on Thursday and say, hey, this is good. We accept his report, and then it goes to planning commission. The planning commission has to wait until the week after council meeting for their approval. So then that puts it the following month for council to consider.
do we have any are there any other municipalities who have similar stipulations?
I am not aware. There very well may be. Are you aware of any field?
Every community has their own standards for this type of thing, especially for the road acceptance process. I'm not aware of anyone specifically that does this at the council or planning commission level. Mostly it's done internally through administrative staff. Most of the time, those staffs have an engineer on board. In this case, you kind of set that so that the city is identifying a engineer and having them advise us on these type of things. So each community is a little bit different. This one is a little bit unique as far as planning commission being part of that process.
What is the name of the development going down West Main? Is that?
Clinton Commons.
Okay, so aren't they tearing that
Yes, ma'am.
road back up, and
Yes,
having to
ma'am.
redo that
Yes,
road? So, I mean, that's why we need this, is because apparently there's something wrong with that road.
It is.
That they're having to tear it back up. So we need that extra process, and if it takes a couple of weeks, then it takes a couple of weeks. We just need to be sure that we're taking on something and it's correct. Because I'm looking, I'm going like, okay, they tearing this road, they've paved the road, but now they're having to tear it back up because there's a problem.
Unfortunately, the road was not installed correctly to begin with, so they are having
There we go.
to redo it.
I
But
think-
they did not fall under these particular guidelines that we're talking about
Are these
tonight.
new guidelines? Are they new
The
guidelines?
subdivision ordinance is not, and the DOT specifications are not. The only difference is, right now, is, adding the engineer to certify these roads and the time that we, allow for him to go to, council and our public works director and also the planning commission. That's the changes there.
I mean, I think those layers are valid and, you know, important. I guess I still have some concern with the prior to conduction of additional phases to the development. I understand that, I understand the concern for that, but I think that has the potential to set us up in red tape that would be a deterrent to a lot of development.
To that point though, Mr. City Manager, we have to know well in advance when another phase is starting.
Yes, sir.
So it's not like this has got to happen before another phase can start. We know all the logistics and all that's going on, the impact fees, all that's got to be taken care of before. So if it's delayed 2 weeks, we've had other call meetings to handle one specific item. So therefore, it's not delaying the next phase as long as everybody's doing their job in his own time with what's supposed to happen, and the developer comes in and makes application appropriately and according to policy as far as, okay, I'm ready to start phase 2. Unless they come in on the front end and says, I'm going to do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 simultaneously while the whole project is going on. So this is more of a precautionary, extra preventive measure, having it in place. If they've done their job and done it right, they know they're not going to be held up because the DOT or the engineer and the planning commission is going to approve it, and it's going to come straight on to us for approval too. So the steps there, but we're going to know well in advance when Stone Creek, Shell Creek, Clinton Commons is starting phase 2. Well in advance.
Well, this is, we've said, this is all a new process, and we're trying to figure it out, and we got to start somewhere. And if we run into problems, then we reevaluate, I think.
I was just about to make
Yeah.
a suggestion. We can monitor and adjust the process as needed, but put something
Right.
in place now.
I'm just-
Okay, we have a, oh,
I'd
go
like to
ahead.
say one thing. Being close to that property, Clinton Commons, employed right up the road from there, I go by that road every day. Now, I've witnessed sections of those roads they put in there. If anything stopped any phasing, is the fact they can't drive on some of those roads right now. So to me, had they gone in there with the idea that we had this in place, I think they would have improved those initial roads that they put in.
It would have been done correctly from the beginning.
Right.
I don't disagree with what we're doing here. I think it is great.
Okay,
One more thing, I feel like we're, and it probably doesn't change anything, but I think we're conflating two things, which is the completion of the roads and then taking them into our inventory. They have to build to these standards whether we take them into our inventory.
Well, we
I don't know
say they
if
have
that's
to, but if you go to Charlotte, if you go to those, development, Charlotte Road, they're terrible. They're absolutely, the roads are absolutely terrible. I don't think the city would even take in those roads and the one that's right behind, Domino Pizza.
But that's what I'm saying, because even if they build a great, perfect road, we still have an option whether we take that into the city's inventory or not. So it doesn't mean because all this is approved, that we say, yes, you can go to phase 2. That doesn't mean we're taking the roads.
No, but it also puts something in place that they will do better with fixing these roads. Because now, I'm having, because that is part of Ward 2. I'm constantly having people calling saying, hey, you need to get the city to come and fix this road. Well, it's not the city, it's the developer. But trying to tell residents that when they got all these potholes and stuff and nobody is fixing them.
That's something we're gonna have to figure out, because on the one hand, if we take more roads, it's gonna cost us more money, but if we don't, who's responsible for it? But that's kind of what I'm saying, it's two different issues.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second, and I think we're starting to say the same things. So if everybody's ready to vote, let's go ahead and vote. Everybody ready? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
What, I do have a question there. So are we leaving that prior to construction in here? Okay,
Yeah.
because we didn't make the,
Yeah.
because it's struck out, so we need to
We
say,
will amend this.
okay,
to
so
read-
that, we need to
take
say we
that
will,
out before it's-
okay, that we will amend that and put that back in. Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me. On to new business. This is for consideration of adoption of a sick leave pool policy. We currently provide employees with accrued sick and annual leave. However, there is a need sometime to formalize a sick leave pool policy to assist employees who experience a catastrophic medical condition or other qualifying medical emergency after exhausting all available paid leave. We have had a similar policy in effect for the past couple of years that was never brought to city council for approval. So there is pretty much this policy that you see before you in place at this moment. I have halted the use of that until we get approval by mayor and council. What this pool does is just like I said, if you have a catastrophic medical condition, you or your spouse, you can dip into the sick leave policy, pool to request some additional time. And it goes before a board that's set up by the members of the sick leave pool. In order to join the sick leave pool, you have to sign up for it during open enrollments May the 1st through June the 30th of every year. And if you're a new employee, you must complete your 60-day probationary period plus an additional 30 days. And then you're allowed to sign up. And you must contribute 4 days, 32 hours, when you initially sign up for this pool. Any request made will go before the board and will be voted on and considered at that time.
And this has been a good policy. It just
It
didn't get
has.
brought before us
It has.
back
It's
several
helped-
years ago
it
when
has
they
helped
started. Yeah.
Several people, and I think it's a good thing.
Okay, so we have a recommendation to adopt the sick leave pool policy, and I'll entertain a motion if that's the will of council. I have a motion from Ms. Waltz, second from Mr. Smith. Questions or comments?
So do you have employees that are interested in this policy? That,
Yes, ma'am. We have people that are signed up for it right now. And I put a stoppage to it when I found out a couple of weeks ago that it had not been brought before council for approval. And with it being a personnel policy and going in our handbook, it needs to be approved by council before it was put in place. So I'm asking council to do that tonight.
So everybody on that list has to donate 4 days, just say, when you sign up, you have to donate 4 of your sick days.
That is correct.
But somebody that has not signed up, are they allowed to pull from that pool?
No, ma'am. They will not be able.
If you don't constrict it, you don't
They
get
will
it.
not be allowed to do that.
Any other questions?
so if they, let me just understand, okay, I give 4 days, and let's say I end up needing those 4 days back, I can get my 4 days back?
Unfortunately, you have to apply for.
So once I give it, and
it
then
becomes
something
a part
come
of
up where I have a medical need, then I have to go through this process. I can't come and say, I need to withdraw. So it's saying that the employee cannot withdraw once they sign up, they're in it. Is that what it's saying?
It's not saying they can't withdraw. They have to go through the process to request additional leave once they have exhausted all the leave that they have left. So if I have 100 hours, and then you commit 32 hours to the pool, so you are left with 68 hours. Yeah, 68 hours. That do the math. You have 68 hours left, so it comes directly off of what your current leave amount is. So if you use those 68 hours and you have an illness in your family, or you are ill, you have to go to the sick leave pool and request additional time.
So and I have another question. So do we pay out sick leaves when an employee resign? So
No, ma'am.
you don't pay out the sick leaves? Okay, so I got 4 days in, and then I quit. Is that 4 days gonna be still in there for the other employees in that pool, or?
Yes, ma'am. When you signed up to be a part of the pool, you donated those 4 days. So it will remain in the pool.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is consider a resolution endorsing the expenditure of funds as a required match for a community development block grant for the Florida Street Subbasin Sewer Rehabilitation. We have not yet received the grant, but we're on tap to receive a grant in the amount of $973,000. So this is just committing our 10% portion of that grant funds, and as far as engineering and other things that we would do along with this grant. We've done this same thing.
What we do for every grant, CDBG grant.
I should have the application on my desk before the end of the week to be sent in to the CDBG for consideration of this.
Okay, we have a recommendation to for council to endorse the expenditure of funds as a required match for the Community Development Block Grant for the Florida Street Subbasin Sewer Rehabilitation. And I'll
Say that
entertain
10
a motion, all that, I got through it once, that's all we need to do.
So moved.
I have a motion from Ms. Walsh, second from Mr. Cook. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And motion carries. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is for council to consider first reading of an ordinance amending the city code to establish one-way westbound traffic on West Pitt Street between North Broad Street and Elizabeth Street. And that will also provide for installation of 21 angle parking spaces, authorize traffic control devices and signage providing for enforcement, implementation, and an effective and other matters related thereto. I can't talk tonight. So we are in the midst of the Safe Streets Grant project, and several of our concerned citizens have talked with the Safe Streets Grant folks on several different occasions. And one thing they did recommend is making West Pitt Street more pedestrian friendly. So along with that, it will become the eventual request to close Wall Street and make that pedestrian friendly. But for tonight, we're asking to put West Pitt Street as a one-way street. We would add 21 angle parking spaces on the west side of West Pitt Street. And it will give us 21 extra parking spaces for downtown. Also, one of the reasons is when the last streetscape was done, they made a big round, where you had to make a big roundhouse turn to turn right off of West Pitt Street. And we have had over the years many complaints about people bursting tires on those curbings. So that will take that out of play.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a recommendation to consider first reading of the ordinance amending city code for the making Pitt Street one-way.
One way.
Shorten that down.
From Broad.
From Broad that way, right, to Elizabeth. And I have a motion from Mr. Kirkendall, is a second from Mr. Smith. Okay, any questions or comments? I think this is a very cool plan, so.
Well, I think it's a cool plan too, but I wish we would do something with those curving, with all of them, because it's not just Pitt Street. It's when you turn off of Broad Street onto Main Street, you hit that curve as well. I think we need to be looking at all those high curving, because I know people have burst their tires turning off of Broad onto Main. So that's a problem there as well. And we can't make that a one-way street. I think we need to be focusing on lowering those curves. I don't even know why we did it in the first place, but we need to focus on that to work on doing those curving too.
We can't lower them without removing them and putting something else there, but we may can find a way or someone that can come in and grind off those sharp edges.
Okay,
That'd be
well,
good.
that's something to consider.
Yeah.
But that's not in this motion, so.
No, it's not in this motion.
Um,
That was my suggestion.
Any other questions or comments on this motion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is for council to consider first reading of an ordinance for the annexation of contiguous real property into the city of Clinton located between Derby Lane and South Broad Street and identified as Lawrence County Tax Map number 617-00-00-127. At your place tonight, you have it was included last month, but we did not vote on it last month. So this is the parcel that we're looking at here, and the Phillips requested that we annex that property so they could bring it into the city and make their lot size larger.
Okay, so we have a request from staff to consider first reading of the ordinance for annexation of this property, tax map number 617-00-00-127. I'll entertain a motion if that's the will of council.
So moved.
I have a motion from Ms. Walsh, second from Mr. Kirkendall. Any questions or comments?
And this will stay at R1.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, if not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. And motion carries. Thank you.
Item E is council to consider first reading of an ordinance amending the zoning designation of property within the city limits of Clinton consisting of 3.14 acres more or less and located at 104, 106, 111, and 112 Davidson Street, being identified as county tax map numbers 901-10-001-007, -009 and -013 and 014. This is the item that we talked about a little bit earlier when Mr. DeWitt came to the podium. And I was going to request that we table this item, and if she comes back to feel about changing to R2 from C3, that it go back before the planning commission before it comes back to council.
So you want to table it?
Yes, sir.
We need to have a motion to table?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to table. That's the recommendation of staff. We have a motion from Mr. Kirkendall. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Walsh. Questions or comments?
Are we tabling this just because she's not here?
No, there was a typo in the ordinance that was put out in the agenda packet.
Okay, and as far as the language, part of it's got asking for the commercial 3, and part of it's asking for the R2, that's two different things, so I didn't know if she's asking for C3 or if she's asking for R2.
Her original request was for C3.
But it was denied by,
It was denied
By the
by
planning
planning commission.
yeah.
Yeah, and the typo in the ordinance read, it was approved by the planning commission, and they were asking council to approve it. So that's why I'm asking for it to be tabled.
So if it comes back, is it C3 or it's R2 if she's asking for? What is, or you don't know that?
I don't know.
Which way
Will it
you-
have to be another
I have-
public hearing?
Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure we need to table this versus deny it.
Not.
Because if it comes back, it's not gonna come back under
Same,
this
yeah, it'll come
motion,
back as something
and a tabled motion means it's gonna reoccur at some point in the future.
Okay.
So I think we
Right.
need
Need to
to
deny.
not table it, but actually vote it down.
All right, how do we undo that, Mr.?
Well, we hadn't voted yet.
I know, but I want to ask the parliamentarian.
I don't think did you make a motion to table? Did I miss that?
We made a motion to table it.
And a second.
So you can
But we
rescind,
didn't-
the
You can,
parties who
you can
made
rescind
that
that
can
or do a
rescind
friendly.
that.
You
We
can
didn't-
rescind the
didn't vote.
motions?
Yeah.
Okay, y'all rescind your motions?
Yes.
Okay, now, we'll entertain a motion to deny.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is from Mr. Cook, second from Ms. Williams. Okay, any other questions? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion is passed and the ordinance is denied. And we'll wait to see what comes back.
The next item on the agenda is for city council to consider first reading of an ordinance to amend the City of Clinton Code of Ordinances for sections 34-4A, 34-67, 34-102 and 34-102. What this in essence is doing, it's an
I got
ordinance.
one on here.
Ma'am,
You was saying 34-4 and some others. This one only showing 34-4.
that's correct. The other is the full ordinance with those other sections. The only one we're really amending is 34-4. And what this has to do with is the floodplain ordinance. They have done recertification of our ordinances and asked that we change the date to June 20th, 2019, as it is reflected in the ordinance for change. And we'll be back to where we need to be with the National Floodplain Ordinance that we have to follow.
This just puts us in compliance.
Puts us in compliance, yes, sir.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to consider a first reading to amend the ordinance, get us back into compliance with the National Floodplain.
So moved.
Have a motion, Mr. Cook. I think Mr. Kirkendall seconded it first. Any questions or comments? Okay, if not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. And the motion is carried. Thank you.
And the next item on the agenda is for city council to consider dates for a budget work session. I sent out an email on April the 3rd to each of you, and I got back various, I asked for the week of April the 20th or the week of April 27th. A few of you can one week and a few of you the next week, so we need to kind of hash this out so Carl and I can continue planning the budget work session so we can begin the budget process for FY 26-27.
Okay, so what's the, so
Well,
where do we go from this?
Ms. Wall says she's good both weeks. Mr. Cook can do it a few days the first week and not the second week of the 27th. Ms. Williams can't do it on the week of the 20th. Danny Smith is good week of the 27th. Mayor is good a few days the first of the week, the first week, and a few days the second week. And Gary is good with the week of the 20th. So
I'll make it work, whichever,
Okay.
except for the 28th, we have a gas authority meeting. So,
Week of the 27th is, I cannot, week of the 20th.
Which week can you do?
I cannot do the week of the 20th. I already have plans.
Wasn't somebody else the opposite of that? Could only do that week? Is that what you said?
I think so.
That's true, but I'm not remember who it was.
no, you were good with the week of the 27th. Mr. Cook
No.
stated in his email that he could not do the week of the 27th.
I cannot definitely do Monday or Tuesday night. I can switch some things around for Wednesday, Thursday, but I cannot do Monday or Tuesday.
I can do Tuesday or Thursday of that week, so the 30th, is anybody?
You
I
can?
can.
Everybody good?
Thursday the 30th, Thursday the 30th is one everybody can do.
Everybody good?
The 30th of April.
6 o'clock?
Pardon?
6 o'clock?
Yes, ma'am. I will send an email invitation out to each one of you tomorrow for that. Thank you.
All right, well, hang on.
That's all I have, sir.
I would ask Mr. Metters that week that you remind all of us. I'm putting it in my calendar with alerts, but given that it's not our stated meeting and it's an odd day of the week, it would probably behoove all of us to get a reminder that week. maybe, I'm just thinking.
Whatever we have for the April the 20th, is that not, this is what this is?
Right.
It was originally scheduled for April the 20th?
Right.
Right.
Budget.
And, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have tonight.
Okay, April the 30th at 6 PM. Yeah, we're not gonna rush through this till I get this put in there, so I won't mess up.
But,
My
but
thumbs
Mr.
work
Metters is
slowly.
gonna remind you that week anyway.
I know, but I want to be one step ahead of that, so. All right, now we have a request for executive session to discuss animal control contract with Lawrence County. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session and return at the call of the chair.
So moved.
I have a motion, Ms. Walsh, second, Mr. Cook. Questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. We'll go into executive session and return at the call of the chair. Thank you.
What happened to that clock that it went? It went, the clock messed up. Which clock? Right there. It was right when we came in. And
It's just an hour off.